This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and today we have a pretty interesting mashup. So this is a deck I'm calling Value Turns. It starts off looking like a Todd Stevens deck, and then it ends up looking like an Infinite Turn deck. I don't know exactly what's going on with this one. It comes to us from Amnesia, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a competitive Modern League on Magic Online. So congrats to Amnesia on a super sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Value Turns for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Value Turns starts off looking pretty much like Value Town, Todd Stevens style deck. Lots of Mana Dork, Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarch, and even a Llanowar Elves, giving us a massive 9 1-mana Mana Dorks to start us ramping into our bigger, more impactful plays. And then we have kind of like the weird value ramp engine of Courser of Kruphix, Azusa, Lost But Seeking. The idea here is if we get down Courser, we get to play lands off the top of our deck. If we have Azusa as well, we get to play 2 extra lands, so we can do all kinds of shenanigans where we are using cards like Ramunap Excavator, Knight of the Reliquary to keep churning through our deck. With a Courser out to see what's on top, Azusa to make extra lands, Ramunap Excavator to play fetch lands, for example, from our graveyard. Knight of the Reliquary is a way to shuffle our deck as we search out a land and shuffle again with a fetch land. We have a lot of control over the top of our deck, so instead of just using Courser of Kruphix to make an extra land drop or to kind of like semi-draw a card by getting a land off the top of our deck, we can actually use this as sort of this weird tutor type effect where every turn we can look at our top card. If we don't like it, play a fetch, crack a fetch, get a new top card. If we don't like it, we get the fetch back from the graveyard with Ramunap Excavator. Sack it again, get a new top card. Use Knight of the Reliquary to sack a land, to shuffle again, and get a new top card until we eventually find what we want on top of our deck. The other key part of this, as I was kind of just talking about, are lands that shuffle our deck. So these are really, really important to what we're trying to do because they are our easiest way of just repeatedly shuffling. Like, Knight of the Reliquary helps, but having lands that shuffle our deck really put us into overdrive as far as manipulating and controlling what we're drawing for the turn and what's on top of our deck. So far, we have a pretty typical value engine. Mana Dorks to ramp into our more expensive stuff, Coursers and Azusas and all these land shenanigans, but what are we trying to get on top of our deck? And this is where the deck kind of takes a weird turn. So all that shuffling, all that top of our library manipulation, our big payoff for that is Temporal Mastery. So Temporal Mastery, really expensive extra turn spell unless you miracle it, and with the ability to look at the top of our deck and change the top card of our deck over and over and over again with all those shuffle effects, our goal is to get Temporal Masteries on top of our deck. When we have it on top of our deck, we can miracle it for 2 mana, which makes it a literal time walk. Power 9, vintage staple, one of the most busted cards ever printed. So that's kind of the goal of the deck. If we happen to draw our Temporal Mastery, we can use Jason Mind Sculptor to put it back on top of our deck, and then, as we are taking those extra turns, we're making tons of extra land drops. We're growing our Knight of the Reliquary, we're ticking up our Planeswalkers, and hopefully just winning the game. We also have 1 Time Warp. Not 100% sure what the plan with this one is. I guess it just works well with our ramping. We do have those 9 Mana Dorks. We have extra land drops, so we can get to 5 mana pretty quickly with this deck. And then we just get an extra turn, get more Planeswalker activations, get more shuffles to get Temporal Mastery on top of our deck. We also have a single Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. No real specific purpose for this one. It's just a good value card. If we can play it on like turn 3 after playing a bunch of Mana Dorks, it is a very powerful powerful Planeswalker in the Modern format, drawing his cards, being a like pseudo removal spell, and if we ultimate, definitely winning the game, or at least threatening to win the game with the ultimate. Otherwise, we have Tireless Tracker and Eternal Witness as kind of like our card draw engines. We generate a lot of pseudo card advantage with these like extra land drops and shuffles and controlling on top of our deck, but if we throw Tireless Tracker into those loops where we're getting back a fetch, cracking a fetch, getting another land, using Knight of the Reliquary to get another fetch, to get another land, we just build a massive board of clues, and that's another way we can kind of fight through bad cards on top of our deck that we're looking at with Courser of Kruphix, find our extra turn spells, find our big finishers, and Tireless Tracker grows into a massive threat along the way. And then Eternal Witness, just value. If something dies, we can get it back, we can get back a fetch land or whatever. Otherwise, for defense, Spell Queller gives us like a counter spell on a stick, Scavenging Ooze eats away our opponent's graveyard, which is pretty relevant in a lot of modern matchups. Collected Company kind of just holds everything together. Apart from our Planeswalkers and extra turn spells, all of our creatures are cheap enough that they get hit by Collected Company, so it's just another powerful card that we can kind of find as we're doing our top of the deck manipulation, get a couple creatures out of the deal, and hopefully assemble our value engines, find our one of Excavators, find our one of Azusa, those type of things. Mana base wise, we have Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin, which are really strong with Ramunap Excavator and Knight of the Reliquary, and Azusa for extra land drops, but we can just value town style lock our opponent out of playing the game by eating away all their basics with Ghost Quarter and eventually turning into Strip Mine. Yavin Township for pumping our dorks. We talked about all the fetch lands, some shock lands, a lot of basic lands. In the sideboard, for kind of the combo-y type matchups, we get another Spell Queller, a couple of Unified Wilds, and a Dispel as counter spells. Surgical to deal with graveyard stuff, also some combo stuff and Tron lands if we Ghost Quarter them, etc. Stony Silence, Tron Affinity, Hardened Scales is incredibly popular right now, good there as well. Path to Exile for a bit of removal. Oh yeah, we don't have any actual removal in the main deck, which is one of the weird quirks of this deck. Normally you start with 4 paths. This deck is taking the risky line and just going 100% value, trusting they can just outvalue the opponent with no literal hard removal. I mean, I guess you got like Jace Bounce or Teferi, Tuck, but you don't have any just cheap, real removal in the main deck. Reclamation Sage for artifacts and enchantments. For controlling matchups, we can grind out even more value with another tracker in Teferi for drawing cards, and that is value turds for Modern, and that's our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.